everybody. Welcome back to the inVOYAGE Vodcast, connecting with events professionals, DMCs and luxury hotels worldwide. We're joined here today by Graham Alderman, owner, managing director of Ulterior Events here in the UK. Graham, how are you doing, fella?
Fine, Richard. I'm all right. I'm still here. I'm surviving. I'm fighting. So
still here. Well, talking about still here then, tell us a little bit about Ulterior, because I know you've been around for longer than I actually initially realised. So give us a sense of what got you started, what got Ulterior started, and dragged you into this industry we're in.
Well, our company started in 1991. It's our 30th birthday this year, and it was started by my father.
Okay.
Martin Alderman, who was a legend in Venice and Barbados back in the day.
I love that.
So Dad started the business in '91. He came out of another agency that was doing, in those days, very much the business travel model of having people doing the full ticketing and the full business travel, and had a small incentives division which Dad was running. He did a little management buyout with a business partner, and they set up a company called Teamwork Travel Management. And Teamwork in '91 started out as purely an incentive agency and continued really for 20 years as that. Dad knew incentives and knew more than a lot of other people, because no Google, no TripAdvisor, no internet, none of the resources now that we have and clients have. It doesn't happen now, but it was much more frequent then. So Dad did this for 20 years. I, at the same time, started a corporate merchandise business called Ulterior Motifs, which I still have. So I have another business called Ulterior Motifs, which is 30 years old again this year, because we started a month apart. Now, over those 20 years, corporate merchandise and corporate events, they go quite hand in hand, because you do an event, you buy giveaways. And so Dad and I shared some clients and some contacts. So we sort of intertwined for 20 years. About 8-9 years ago, I sat down with Dad. Dad couldn't travel anymore, and I'd had a year of stepping in for him. Loved every minute of it. Who's not going to love? I still love corporate merchandise. He's still my little baby. But that was 20 years of going around offices with a suitcase full of samples, as opposed to spending 5 days in Dubai, spending 5 days in Cape Town, going, actually, I quite like this.
Commodity versus experience, right?
Yeah, it was. And he just sort of got me into it that way. And then Dad and I sat down, and he said to me, I can't do this anymore. And I said to him, fine. And then we had a year of trying to work together as sort of joint MDs. But me and my dad, we talk to each other every day. We're good friends, but we don't work the same way. And it became very apparent that we were jeopardizing something that a lot of people have fallen foul to, which is that family sort of business relationship that goes wrong. Absolutely. And we weren't going to, there was nothing was going to make us do that. So basically, we both said, look, or he said to me, son, take it, it's yours. Yeah. I said, Dad, thanks, that's great, it all works well. And I rebranded it to Ulterior Events.
You've been running this for yourself now, or running this at the top of that team now for 10 years. So you know, it's you've moved it on, you've developed it, right?
Yeah, we have. We've sort of we started doing a bit of UK work as well, purely because clients said, would you like to do this, because we trust you with that and we want you to do this. So we still do some UK work now. We do some kickoffs and conferences, but at the core it is incentives, and we have moved it on. We've not grown the company as in we've got 50 staff and we only used to have 5. We're still a small business, but we like being that way. I really love. Obviously, last year's been devastating for the industry financially and emotionally and everything else. But I just love what I do, and I like the people I work with.
You can tell that. You can see your passion.
I mean, I do, and I love it all. But I don't harbour desires to have massive offices and 100 staff. If it falls into place in the next 10 years, then we go with the flow. But as it stands at the moment, I don't think I've necessarily grown the company as in, but we've just carried on Dad's legacy. Yeah. We're doing it my way, slightly different to Dad's way. And as I say, we still, at the end of it, the ultimate thing is to make sure the event is as perfect as it can be. Yeah. And I do that surrounded by a group of people who I call my friends, who work with me. Yeah. They don't work for me, they work with me, and I call them my friends, and I love doing what we do. We work hard, but we just love it. I mean, just love it.
I know personally that you've delivered some really quality incentives, and
so.
and I know you like the long haul side of things. How many countries are we talking about here?
We as a business, Ulterior Events and Teamwork, but we've taken UK groups to 94, I think it's 95 now, destinations around the world. Now,
is there going to be a party on the 100th?
Well, we're still not sure, because I think Dad did so many, he's forgotten some. So we sort of, every now and then he said, oh no, we did one there. So fair enough, okay. Because I don't think the records were quite as strong as 30 years ago as they are now. But we've done a lot of countries, and as I say, in a lot of those destinations, somewhere like Rome, I think we worked out we've done nearing 20 incentives to Rome over the 30 years. Dubai's into double figures. So although it's 94 destinations in multiple times, so I think with Vietnam, for me, I think it's probably certainly my personal top 3 of destinations, and also the success of the trip, because everything fell into place. But
absolutely,
the people, it's that friendly, welcoming. You go to the hotels. I find long haul, you can get hotels I would say they're more flexible, because you don't want people to do things they don't normally do. We never sort of ask, can you do that? And even ourselves thinking, well, that would be a bit risky. We talk about it, but long haul destinations, whereas some of the mainland European chain hotels, top deluxe hotels that we use, the quality is exceptional, the banqueting is exceptional. There's a certain restriction on the flexibility. Absolutely. But when you go long haul, you get it's more of an exploratory sort of, and some of the ideas you come up with, that it just works, and they go, well, I've spoken to DMCs in after events, and they go, we do that as standard now, because we never thought of doing that. Now it's just finding the right, and I love that. I love getting involved with the local DMCs, the hoteliers,
but when you find a DMC that
doers
loves it as much as you, that's when the magic happens, right?
I think that's the thing, because I think the one thing the DMCs, again, I'll go alluding to what I said about my own personality earlier on with the DMCs, they all know very early on that everything we're trying to do is for the group. And I don't want to sit here and go, oh my God, every agency works for the group. I know that. But everything we put in place, like, as I say, like taking the same flight as the group's going to be taking, so that you have a perception of what they're going to feel like. So therefore, when you start piecing together every hour of their arrival, which is maybe early morning drinks, breakfast. So what we did, as an example out there, is the flight arrived, say it's 5 in the morning, godforsaken time, overnight flight, big group, 120, I think it was, all obviously on economy, 120, overnight flight, early hours. So you're absolutely knackered when you get there. We go to the hotel, private breakfast, but there was something missing for me, because I did that, had breakfast, then went out on a city tour to see some, and again, you go around Hanoi, and you've got obviously the prison, and which is quite extraordinary. You've got the tuk-tuks and the bike rides, you got all that, but there was something missing. And what we did in the end, which just added that burst of energy, they came to the hotel, everybody had a fantastic champagne breakfast, there was day rooms ready, go off and get showered, come back down. Then we went off and did 120 people did a Tai Chi lesson in the gardens, in the botanical gardens.
Nice.
So you've got the grandmaster, you've got 120 people, and that 40 minutes of, it just got some energy. But what we do in Hanoi is went there for one night, did a great day there, and then you flew the next morning down to Hoi An, and you fly into Da Nang. Well, not Hoi An, you fly into Da Nang, and then we stayed at a resort called the Furama, which is a lovely sporting resort on the beach, and then did 3 days down there. But one of the guys on LinkedIn yesterday said that he loved the bike ride, and we had 120 people on bikes going through all the rice fields, the prawn farms. They've got all the farms. If you look at nearly half the prawns you buy in your local supermarket, they're all from Vietnam. But I think we cycled through half the prawn farms, because they're all, I mean, it's just extraordinary. And then we stopped we did on the inspection, the bike ride, and we stopped at a little shack to get a can of Coke, cold can of Coke. And we said to the DMC, like, we will do a drink stop, and they were going to organise a big drink stop on the side of the road, bringing drinks from the supermarket. And I said, well, can't we use him? Can't we use the family, like the shack? Because they've got a little shop. And he said, I don't know. And I said, well, look, ask him. I said, because it's 120 drinks in one day for him. That is a great little day for him. It's a can of Coke and a little snack each. But it was an amazing thing. But what was really interesting, and this is that originally as part of the tour, because again, this is backwater Da Nang, you use somebody lets out their house for a toilet stop. So if you want to have a break, we're using somebody's property, and it's all clean and everything else. But I wasn't happy with that, as you can imagine. It just didn't fit into what we were trying to achieve.
Yeah.
So the shop owner said, well, if we give him the order for the drinks, he'll build some toilets when we come out with the group. So when we got out there, he set up all his stall, and there was some toilets, proper toilets built, which basically they then use for the community. I mean, it's just those sort of things are just wonderful.
Yeah, look, I'm sitting here with all these stories you're telling of Vietnam and India, and I'm thinking back to when your father was creating events in the 80s, the 90s. You know, is there a competition at the dinner table between you and your father as to who tells the best stories?
I think it's funny with Dad because his stories were part of my upbringing. I'm going to tell you, sort of when I from my 20s to my 40s, those stories were very relevant to sort of the dinner table then. And as I say, when we do something, communication is so much different now. So he gets WhatsApp every time. And to be fair, Fiona, so my business partner, works with him. Sort of they're friends, and so he gets WhatsApps when we're away on events. He gets pictures, and he comes back and goes, "That looks top drawer, son," and love that, and this, that, and the other. So it's more a case of we're just carrying on the story. It's not a case of what did you do about what I do. So when we sit down together, I still like to hear tales of days gone by, and some of the stories of days gone by when it was all a bit different, and on events, some of the little scrapes that this industry puts you in positions sometimes where things sort of, he's had situations in Arizona where it was in a big marquee and they needed to stop it, and the client wanted one more song, and they played one more song, but during that one more song the police turned up, and there's my dad out the front, and there's the Arizona State Police demanding that and basically my dad tried to laugh it off with that British sense of humour, one more song, and he basically, if you don't stop it now, we're pulling the plug out. And okay, fine. He realised it wasn't some sort of we can negotiate 2 or 3 more songs. It was right. He walked into the band and went like that.
So what's exciting you then about the next 18, 24 months? Because I don't know. I mean, I'm sitting here, you know, having seen the last few weeks actually of some really fantastic, buzzy conversations, people signing up to inVOYAGE again, including yourself, sir. Thank you so much. And I know it's a bumpy road ahead. I'm pretty sure about that. You know, I guess we would be kidding ourselves if we weren't, you know, figuring on that one. But looking at that sort of medium term sort of forward picture, those 18, 24 months, what's really exciting you there? What are you kind of looking forward to the most?
I think personally, the obvious one is getting back to doing it again. You know, it's pretty obvious sort of thing, just getting back to doing what we do well. I think that the hurdles we've all got to overcome, apart from the obvious, obviously it's illegal to go on holiday. A strange word, but that's what they told us. It's illegal. As of this current situation, those hurdles are quite big. I think it's quite a nice way to sort of, you use the word at the start of this conversation or this chat, trust. We have got a different trust to give to our clients. Your clients trust your agency to run an incentive. Now that trust is there, but they need trust in the destination. It's not just now a case of putting forward a 48-page PDF with hotels and activities on. There's got to be something else, more detail that we can then give to our clients. What we've got to do now over the next year is all work together to rebuild destination by destination.
Yeah, I mean, the good news is that the good DMCs out there that are listening to this is what they've been doing for the last year. This trust element they've been putting, you know, the upscaling that they will have done on their the way they work with the community around them. You're a DMC friendly agency because DMCs get it. They know what to do on the ground, and right now they're putting all those plans in place for when events can return, and the confidence is there to bring them back.
We should all be treated as specialists. I'm a champion of saying incentives is a specialist industry, but within the core of it, the communication at the moment between the DMCs and the incentive agencies has to be specific and tighter, because again, they've got to, if you're going to put a group together with 50 people and they recommend 3 restaurants, you can't just go where they're going to sit, where, oh, I know that restaurant, we've eaten there, can we have the terrace outside and all that. We're going to need to know just a little bit more about how that restaurant, what it's got, especially if distancing's in place. The other thing we don't know, the minefield we've all got ahead of us, is what happens when it changes again.
Yeah.
You see, we're all looking at a roadmap as a positive. The closer we get to it, the closer we're back to normality. What happens if there's a blip? What happens if you've got a group booking of 60 people in a private dining room in Barcelona, and suddenly they have a spike in January and put you down to social distancing or 30 or 50% capacity?
Sure.
This is, I think, a minefield that the DMCs won't know the answer to. We won't know the answer to. But what we have to do is we all have to work together to get the clients to believe and trust us that everything that we can do,
yeah,
and what we know is in place. Yeah. We've got to accept that this pandemic may have moments in time where we go, oh no, but we're paid to react to that. We're paid to postpone. We're paid to sort it. We're paid to find another restaurant. Okay, we can't get 60 in that one, but I've got one here that's got 120 capacity, and I can do 50% in that. So I'll do you 60 in that, and it will just be fantastic. Go back to the client and say, look, it's all sorted, all under control, fantastic. That's what you paid for. Put the phone down. It's all that sort of thing we've got to work together on. And as I say, it's fun and games, Richard, for the next 12 to 18 months.
100%.
Not so much looking forward to, but it's more a case of accepting that there's not going to be a day where we go, right, incentives, let's go. As happened last Wednesday, sending me an email, ringing up and going, right, we've got an incentive, we want to take 80 people to here, what do you suggest? And I then talk for an hour, like I like to do, as you found out today, about the things that we do and the great things we've done and all the places, and they go, that sounds perfect, can you put a proposal together? Do the proposal, get it signed off, plan it for a year and nail it. And I can't wait to do that again.
Fantastic. I love it.
It will be back and we will be back. It's and as I say, even on LinkedIn, you try and I put a post on last week about this brief, and there's 140 likes and 30 comments of people saying it's great to hear. I can't wait to like a competitor's post because they've had an incentive brief. I can't wait to like when the rep companies go, we've just got this inquiry, and it won't be mine, it might not be mine, but it's still, we're not a one-man company trying to champion incentives. There's a whole industry, a global multi-billion pound industry that is waiting to kickstart again, and we just all have to, I use the word at the start of this, survive, get through this mess bit by bit, month by month, to the point when you suddenly are one day in advance and 80 people get off a plane and your day job starts and it's game time and you do all that, and that's going to happen. That's going to happen.
Euphoria, isn't it?
Oh, I'm not being funny. The first time a group jumps off the plane, I'm going to hug everyone that gets off the plane. It's probably be inappropriate and goes against what we do.
You're going to get in all sorts of trouble, fella.
But it's
it's been an absolute brilliant pleasure to talk with you today, and we'll do this again.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk, Richard, as you know, so feel free. Have a great weekend, mate.
Great, you take care. Take it easy.
Cheers. Thanks, Richard. Cheers, pal.
Right.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.